Hello, this is our presentation talking about our Buchanan County site visit that we did the other week and our focus group. We were Project 23A. So what we found when talking to everyone there and all the attendees of the focus group was that by far the number one problem was schooling. And we also believe that as our team here, that schooling is the number one problem in Buchanan County. Everyone came back to schooling, all the problems came back to schooling. So in the years past, they had a superintendent who was stealing money from the schools without anyone knowing. And obviously this is a big problem, and it caused the schools to cut fundings for programs like welding, art, music, stuff like that, that the very specialized programs that get kids accustomed to everything and new ideas, new experiences, they no longer have that because they can't afford it because the superintendent. Another problem is that the high schools are extremely bad, that families would rather move once they get to the high school, once their kids get to high school age, they would rather move out of the town so that their kids can go to a better high school. Now, obviously, this causes a huge problem in the community because everyone would rather leave because the high schools are so bad. These schools are filled with bad influences that many of the people at the focus group talked about, that they would not feel comfortable sending their kids to some of these. One recommendation that we had was to either centralize or combine the schools so that funding is equally given out to everyone. We thought that in this case, instead of having three different types of schools or three different schools that are in the immediate area, that you could maybe either combine or centralize, which would help with funding. So that would give out to everyone. Instead of one school getting all the money, the other, you could combine them to improve the academics, culture, and funding. Studies have shown that funding is directly related to academic success, and we believe that funding is a huge problem. So in Buchanan County, there is a school where one has way more kids, but these kids are essentially better off. So they're only getting around $1.5–2 million, while the two other schools who have way less kids need a lot more money because their schools are either poverty ridden or something like that, with free and reduced lunch, stuff like that. Another thing we found that these schools were for some reason very behind the times of the modern era with electronics and everything. So instead of all of your stuff being online, they were still using report cards, paper billing, and stuff like that. We felt that that money could 1,000% be better off spent elsewhere. That we thought that instead of using paper, they should do things electronically, including books and report cards. Another idea that we came up with that a lot of our public schools around where we're from started implementing was the use of iPads. iPads may sound expensive, but in the end, it cuts costs a lot because each kid no longer has to buy books every year and everything's pre-downloaded. And with that, you can also monitor what the students are doing in the classrooms through the Wi-Fi, and you'll always know what they're doing and to keep them on track. Through this, not only would getting iPads help the students, they'd be excited about it, get them to learn, but it would also save the environment and save the school money. Another problem is that the community has a huge gap between the wealthy and the poor. So many people in the community have a lot of money, but do not think the money will be used efficiently, like the superintendent case. As, once again, the superintendent really screwed up a lot for the wealthy people. One thing that we came up with was to implement a program that many of our schools, our high schools, had, In our senior year of high school, a lot of us were allowed to leave school early and go work or take college courses at the local community college to earn college credit. Now, this would not only instill a work ethic in the young of the community, but help the economy and would keep the kids from doing unproductive things after school. And not only would this help them, but it would help the parents in saving money because the local community college per credit hour is much, much cheaper than a university or a school like that.
So, going along the lines of that, some more recommendations we have to solve the problems regarding the schooling system. We could try to improve the community as a whole and introduce and promote some after-school activities, for example, intramurals and some clubs revolving around academics. And this would provide kids with not only an opportunity to stay out of the streets and stay out of trouble, but a chance to really bond with their peers, become closer with them, form relationships with their students, and also connect with their teachers or supervisors, and let them get to know each other better. And another problem that we heard about was that there's many kids and some adults who cannot afford transportation, so they don't have cars to drive to work, and they're forced to ride the public bus, which many people feel is unsafe. So many of the attendees at the focus group, they said that they wouldn't want their own kids riding the public bus, and they want to ride it themselves. And this causes many adults trying to find jobs to take lower income jobs that can't support a healthy lifestyle as they grow older, and they aren't gaining any real world experience for these jobs because they are not benefiting them as other jobs would. So in addition to providing extracurricular activities, the high school, this is something my high school did, and I felt like it was a great idea. They should offer a program where the kids have a chance to shadow the teachers and really get to know what they do throughout the day and assist them in whatever they need. So they get a closer look at what their teachers do every day, and it'll give them the chance to know if they want to possibly become a teacher when they get older. It could also be a great indicator to see if they want to stay in Buchanan County as they grow older, maybe even become a teacher in the exact same and teach kids the exact same thing that they learned when they were growing up. And so when listening to everyone at the focus group, one problem that kept coming up was how bad the education system was in general, and how parents are moving further away to let their kids go to a better school. So we recommend investing heavily in better equipped teachers that are going to provide your kids with a better opportunity to succeed in life, because teachers are the backbone of community, and they shape every young kid the rest of their lives. You will remember the great teachers you had, and you'll remember the bad ones too. And there's many teachers out there that have changed the lives and career paths of young kids, and they change their habits of how they act outside of school. And we feel Buchanan County should start investing in that aspect to improve the school system.
My name is Rodney G. I'm going to talk about the challenges and limitations. Excuse me. A problem with this project was communication. Obviously, in the beginning, we had to communicate with Denise, and we never met her before, so obviously it was very difficult to find an effective way to communicate and making sure we were well prepared when we visit the site. Another communication issue was meeting with our group. We are all upper level business students with different schedules, so it was like extremely challenging figuring out like an ideal time and place to meet that works best for all 6 of us. We resolved this by setting up a group message, and most of the time we meet once a week on Sunday. On Denise's part, a problem that she had with communication that affected us was finding a diverse group of professionals that we can present to. Luckily, Denise and our group figured out who was going to be in our group the day before our visit, and we ended up having 10 total participants, all with distinct backgrounds. In attendance, we had Tom Cobb, an amusement game salesman, Scott Tucker, retired businessman, Larry Coach, on-school board, Janice Ferguson, Denise's mom, Norma Wang, domestic counselor, Paul Wing, Whitney Lanning, executive director, Bill McMurray, mayor, Larry Santos, Meek Ryder, and Milton Moore, retired teacher. For future opportunities, we said that walking away from this focus group, we came away very satisfied with how it went. Not only did it help us in writing our final report, but we were able to help get all these people with different backgrounds in the community connected with each other. Whitney Lanning even brought up during the presentation how they have never met in an informal setting like this before, and that this was a step in the right direction. The group all exchanged contact information following the meeting and plan on meeting together in the near future. It is very imperative to keep in touch and knowing what is going on in everyone's position. Thank you very much. That is all.